Hey guys, Elliot here. I'm going to run you through inventory management system inside of DataX. So this is an inventory system built on top of JobTread, and it all runs inside of JobTread. You just have to set up a few things, a few assets, and then it should run super smooth in JobTread, and you're tracking inventory. So we're in our toolbox. We got inventory management. You see a few buttons here. So we need a webhook set up. We're going to click this button. Boom, it connects a webhook. It creates a webhook in JobTread, connects your JobTread account to DataX. So now anytime a document is an inventory document is created, it's going to send that data here, and we're going to do our magic and do inventory. We need a cost item custom field. I already have one created, but you're welcome to click that and it creates it for you. We need two different inventory documents. So we're using vendor orders. So we're using purchase orders for inventory add and an inventory subtract. You don't need both of them, but I'm going to show you how we use two just to make it super simple, and then I'll show you how you can do it with just one document. So I don't have any, I don't think. Yeah, see, there's none there. Let's go create, get a little success there, create. If it says an error, you probably already have a document named the same, inventory add or inventory subtract. So if I click this again, I'm getting an error because the document already exists, right? So if you get an error, just check and see what you have. Go back over here. You see I've got inventory add, inventory subtract as my vendor orders. Okay, and then here's where we assign that stuff that we have in JobTread. We're telling DataX this is what we need to use. So our custom field, these are all your cost item custom fields. Select the one, inventory. And then we need an add document. Let's refresh the page. We need an add document, which is there. So assigning that. And we need subtract inventory there. We're assigning that. So now you never have to come back to this inventory page to set up anything. You set it up once, never come back. It's just going to work. So now we're going to go into JobTread. Make sure we have our two things there. In our catalog, we've got this new custom field on our cost items. It's called inventory. You can set up a custom view here, and I highly recommend setting up a catalog cost item custom view called inventory view. And what this looks like is I'm just going into fields. I'm finding the inventory custom field, which is probably all the way at the bottom, moving it to where I want to use it, turning it on, and I'm going to filter, making sure inventory is greater than 0, inventory is less than 0, because we can go negative in our inventory and the calculations, and so we just want to know that. So we want to make sure both of those are there, and then as you get inventory, this will populate. So let me show you how to add and subtract inventory. Before we do that, we create an inventory manager as a vendor so we can see all of our documents in and out. That's just, we need to assign a vendor to the document. So we're going to go to this job. We're going to take the electrical. So you can see in my inventory view, I have 4 switches or 4 outlets and 2 switches in my inventory. And so if I go to this job, we don't want to change the quantities here because that's what we budgeted. And the document is going to be our actual. So let's say we're going to add some inventory. Go here, create. So there's 2 different things we need to do on this page. We're going to go to edit items. And if you want to track the cost of these items, you totally can. You might want to change it to your unit cost, what you paid, rather than extended costs here. So I might just put that number over here. And if we need to change our quantity here. So we look back in our inventory and we have 4 outlets and 2 switches. This is an inventory add document. So we're going to add, let's say we're going to add 3 more switches. Let's say it's from a leftover from another job, or we just found them on the side of the road. We're going to add them to our inventory, and we're going to add 8 outlets. We're going to save this, close. You can name this document whatever you want. And we're going to approve. Once you approve this document, if you go back here, update, you can see our outlets and switches inventory went up. And so if you did an inventory subtract document, they would go down. So let's say we're doing a job. We're going to add recessed lights in there. And we're going to do an inventory subtract. We're using these items on a job. And let's say we do want to track the cost of that stuff. And we're going to say we're using 10 lights, 10 switches, 10 outlets. Oh, so we're just using 10 of everything. And we do want to track the cost there. That's 10 boxes. That's a lot. Save that. Again, you can make the subject line whatever you want. When you approve it, it's going to subtract, inventory subtract those items out of here. So if we go back and look, 12, 5, and then 22, 2, -5, 12. So we just subtracted 10 from each of those. And if we wanted to go and add, like I said, you can add stuff if you don't have, if let's say your 2x4s aren't here yet, you can go to an inventory add document and add those in. You can do it on, you notice the job that we're on an office job, so that's a good place to do inventory adjustments. But then if you're on a job, a real job, you can do the inventory that you're taking away to use on that job. And so that's how we're using the 2 document method, and it just makes it really easy. If you wanted to do a 1 document method, just pick add or subtract, and then do the opposite of what you need to do. So let's say we're just taking this, and let's say we only have, we don't want 2 different documents here, we just want 1. Let's say we just use inventory add. We could do inventory add, and so it's going to add those 4. But if we make this a -4, then it's going to add -4 to the inventory count. So this is how you could do it if you only wanted to use 1 type of document. But I think it takes a little longer and it makes it kind of confusing. So I recommend the 2 documents, but if you want it, you could do just 1 document. I'll just show you how it works. There it went. It subtracted 4. It was 12, now it's 8. So that's how the inventory system works. Again, very basic, very simple, but I hope this helps a lot of people keep track of what they've got in the shop and what they've got in their trucks, and keep track of using it and costing it onto a job. So I hope that helps. Bye.